that you need to just enjoy every moment. Just embrace life. And I think, and sometimes I wonder, I'm like, is that why I'm going through this? Like, to help people realize they need to enjoy every moment. Because you never know when it's your last. Like, you just have to enjoy, just seize every moment of your life.
But this isn't new for you. You've done this a lot. And I think that's one of the reasons why an earlier question is you have no regrets. You've had a fulfilling life.
Yeah. And I think partly is because I've really tried to just embrace life as much as I can.
Hi, everybody, and welcome. This is Marriage Tested.
Love Approved.
I'm Chris.
I'm Kendle.
And we are the Salisburys. So here we are, episode 4. So,
can you believe it? We're already on episode 4.
Seems like it's been longer than that, but in a good way.
Yes.
I do really love doing this. It is a lot of work, and I've even had some questions on all the work that goes into it. But like we like to say, totally worth it.
Absolutely.
Oh, there it is. Didn't even get 3 minutes into it.
Oh my gosh.
Didn't even get 3 minutes
How
into
did
it.
It's almost like I can't even help myself. I cannot believe I even said that.
Absolutely. All right, we'll work on that.
Okay, we'll work on that.
Okay, we are excited to be with you again. Thanks for taking the time. We're laughing at ourselves as we try to improve our ums and ands and absolutelys. Say it.
And edits and...
Say it.
Absolutely.
Okay. So we're trying to get better at this and realize what we are doing, what we're not doing, and get better. Even though I just said get better 3 times.
This has definitely been a learning experience for us. Finding out that we do say a lot of ums, or that I realize that I do repeat myself sometimes. Sometimes I'm having some chemo brain. But you know what? We're doing this for us. We're doing this for you guys. And this has just been fun for us. So we're just going with it. So
it is what it is.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. I say like a ton.
Oh.
So I'm so going to cut that out.
Yeah.
Or at least try.
Yeah.
That was a joke. So we're going to start like we typically do with our approved or denied. These are things we like, things that we've experienced, memories, whatever we want to go with, we approve or deny. So Kendle, why don't you start us off?
Okay. So this last weekend, we were able to go to Washington, D.C. This was my second trip to D.C., and I was able to support an organization called Debbie's Dream Foundation. If you want to check them out, they're called debbiesdream.org. They support research for stomach cancer. They raise awareness for it, and they also support patients' needs. They have been a great support of mine and for so many other patients that are going through stomach cancer. We went to Capitol Hill, and we were able to talk to senators, representatives from different states. I was able to go for Utah, and I was able to meet Senator John Curtis. I went and met with different staffers from Senator Mike Lee's office, from Representative Celeste Malloy's office, from different representatives, and really get that awareness for stomach cancer. There's so much awareness for different cancers, but really stomach cancer, because we're not as well known. Right now, there's about 30,000 people in the United States that are getting diagnosed with stomach cancer. We really need to get more information out there about stomach cancer.
Which is surprising because stomach cancer is what? The fifth deadliest
worldwide.
worldwide.
Yeah. So in other countries, it's people are being affected more than the United States, but still, it's the fifth deadliest cancer in the world. And in 5 years, if you have stage 4 stomach cancer, your survival rate is only 7%. And here I am with stage 4. That only gives me 7% survival rate. So when I went to go meet with the staffers of these representatives, I said, I'm planning on being one of those 7%. So that was my approved. And then my not approved
Denied.
or denied was just not being able to really make much of a difference right now. I think because stomach cancer is not really a big concern, because we really only have about 30,000 people in the United States that are getting stomach cancer, and only about 10,000 are dying from stomach cancer. That's still loved ones and a lot of people that are dying. It's just not a big concern. And so they thanked us for meeting with them, but as we know what's going on in the United States right now, is that a top priority for these representatives? No. So that was a hard fact when it is a life. That's my life. And so leaving their offices knowing, are they really going to do much with it? No. Right now, no. And
Well,
that was hard for me to face that.
And that's why we keep pushing. That's why for our state, for the state of Utah, none of the senators or representatives have signed on to the letters with intent for more funding for stomach cancer. So we did talk to others where they had a similar situation with their states. That's why we have to continue to get in front of Congress, get in front of lawmakers, policymakers, and shake the money tree so that funding can continue, especially for stomach cancer.
Well, and that kind of lit the fire under me, because I realized, you know what, if I don't keep coming back, if I don't really stay on top of my representatives and my senators, then it will continue to just be a cancer that they don't care about. But what was really neat is because I had been there twice, a lot of the staffers remembered me. They remembered my story. And I thought, you know what? They are going to remember me. I am going to keep coming back. I am going to continue to keep contacting them, and they will remember me and my story. So, Chris, what were some of your high and lows of this trip? Because this was really your first time going to a stomach cancer event.
Yeah, it was different. It was definitely approved, and it was really neat to see the community. And we saw some individuals that are really struggling with their treatments and with the disease. And it was really neat to see people come together and really lift and support each other. But the organization did, I thought, a phenomenal job. On one hand, this is kind of the main thought that I had. On the one hand, there was over 200 that went to Capitol Hill, which was awesome. And I wish the group was a lot bigger so that we could get a lot more awareness. But at the same time, I don't want it too big because that means more people have cancer.
That's right.
And then I didn't want it to be too small because then we couldn't make a difference. But if it was smaller, hopefully it's because people weren't passing away. So it was just this weird mix. It was really emotional for me to be 24/7 cancer was definitely kind of an eye-opener for me. Even though you and I live it all the time, it hit home really hard. And we may talk about this down the road, but there's a couple moments where it hit really hard. But at the same time, my favorite part of the whole experience was you. Watching you in your element, talking to people, how they respond to you. This is definitely something I can see you doing really, really well, and being the face, your pretty face of cancer. You don't look like you have cancer. And so that was really, really awesome just to see you and see you in your element. And really making a difference. And you stand out because you're 5'11", and all these little short people running around. It was really, really fun. So that was my approved. My denied, somewhat related, super lame, I hadn't been to DC since I was 13 years old. I was a Boy Scout. And so it was really cool to go back and see, and I just have very vague memories. But we were walking around a lot. I bought some brand new shoes I was excited about, and they tore my heel up. And unfortunately, it got infected. So here I am, supposed to be the healthy one. You're the one with cancer. And I'm the one that I actually had a fever and could not attend all the activities at Capitol Hill with you because I was sick in bed, which sucked. Oh, of all the times.
Yeah,
So that
it was hard not having you there because I was so excited to enjoy that day with you and have you by my side.
So stupid body failing me right when I didn't want it to. So that was a bummer because I was
next year.
Next
year you will be right there with me.
So that was my denied. So anyway, it's not always about health issues, but when your body fails and prevents you from doing important stuff,
Yeah.
grr.
It's hard.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're going to jump to something a little different. For episode 4, I've realized I talk a lot in our podcast, so I'm going to try and be quiet this time.
Well, part of this with podcasts is this is kind of Chris's background. He went to college for this, so I think he's really enjoying this. We did this partly for me, but I think he's having a lot of fun. I think you have a lot of fun with this. This is your element. Yeah. This is not a normal thing for me, so I'm trying to get more comfortable with this whole thing.
And you're making huge strides and you're improving. And for me, it's always been kind of easy and natural. I really enjoy it. That's why I went to college and got a degree in it. But we do want to do this for us and for you, and so we can capture more things, which has been great because we've already gotten so much feedback from friends and family about things they didn't know. So on that, we're going to dive even deeper, and we're going to get to know Kendle. And so for the record, Kendle came up with 20 plus questions. She showed me the questions, but I have not looked at the answers. I swear. I have not looked at the answers, so I don't know what you're going to say. I think it's fair to say I know you better than anyone on this planet, yes?
Mm-hmm. Yes, that's true.
But at the same time, there's so many times you say things, I have no idea what's about to come out of your mouth.
I love surprising you.
It's fun and horrifying just at the same time.
I got to keep you on your toes.
Oh, my word. You do a good job. So we're going to do some questions with Kendle. I'm going to walk you through it. I'm going to be your interviewer. I'll try to be a hard-nosed journalist and get to the truth of the matter.
There you go.
So, okay, what lesson in life do you think has shaped you the most? This is a good question.
Oh, that's a good one. This was not a hard one for me. I think the biggest thing that really has shaped me is my mom. Growing up with a single mom, it was really important because she did not have a college degree. When my parents divorced, she only had a high school diploma. She was a secretary, and so when they divorced, she needed to go out and find a job. She started up a business. She was a go-getter. And so she raised me to get a college degree, to always take care of myself. It wasn't that she didn't think I would marry somebody that could be financially stable. It was like no matter what, I needed to have a career that I could take care of myself and my family. And so going to college and finding a field that I could get a job no matter what was really important. So I was really glad that I got a job in my career in special education because it really helped us. There were times when you were out of work and I was able to get a teaching job. And we actually lived off of my teaching salary for several years. So I was very grateful for that advice and for that guidance to pursue my career.
I can hear the words, be assertive, be assertive.
Yes.
You learn to be
independent.
Be independent.
Yes.
Independent woman, assertive woman.
Yeah.
Absolutely came from your mom.
Yes. Yeah. So she did teach me well. And if she listens to this, she will be glad I threw that in there for her.
All right. Let's go to, if you could go back to any moment in life, which one would it be and why?
I have to think about this. Oh, okay. So this one was an interesting one. I had to kind of think about what would be, because I really don't have regrets or anything, but I did think about like what would be a moment I would want to go back. So when I was in college, I modeled for Nordstrom's. And it was just really fun. It was just kind of play money. And I would model for Nordstrom's. And most of the time, I just used the money and I would go shopping at Nordstrom's and whatnot. But my agency sent me to New York. And I was able to meet with some agencies there. But they wanted me to move to New York and possibly pursue a modeling agency. But I always wondered, like, what would have happened if I had moved to New York, or at least tried to go there for 6 months or whatnot. But I was attending BYU at the time. So when I was there, I was so nervous. And part of this was just that fear of being in New York, or fear of trying something new. And so there's something of like, if I could go back, I think I would have been maybe more assertive during that time. Maybe I would have gone to a Ford modeling agency, or tried to be kind of let my guard down to try some of the things while I was there. I was so kind of closed off or fearful, and just was like, so I'm going to stay at BYU. I'm not going to try this. And so sure enough, nothing ever came of it. But I think it would have been a neat experience if I gave it a try.
Do you think was it fear of what happens if I make it? Or was it fear of I'm not going to make it? Or was it just such a different, I mean, it's Provo to New York City. That's a pretty wide swing in the spectrum.
And it was probably a mixture of both. Like, I went to New York and I had hair down to my waist. And when I got there, they were like, we need to cut your hair. And they full on chopped my hair, like to up here. And so I came home and they put it in a ponytail, and I came home, and I remember all my roommates and, my ward at BYU, I like showed back up, and they were like, you went to New York to model? First of all, that was a big thing. And then all of a sudden my hair was like full on chopped. And they're like, we can't believe you cut your hair. But just like that experience of just that I would even go and do something like that, I think they just couldn't believe I was willing to do something like that. But I think it would have been really neat to try something, but there was still that fear, like that I was afraid of what would have happened. And so now looking back, I think, what was I so afraid of? Like, I could have taken 6 months off of school, or I could have taken a semester off. What would have been the big deal?
I mean, how many people really get that opportunity to model in New York?
Yeah.
Now, granted, a lot of people go and fail, but that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You've never been the type of person that was afraid of the moment
Mm-hmm.
or afraid of success. So.
But some of that was the unknown. I mean, I grew up in LA, but New York and just going there by myself, it was just.
How old were you?
Probably like 21, 22, something like that. So anyway, trying to think of something like if I could have gone back to a time in my life. I was young and single, and I'm like, that would have been what a neat experience if I would have given it a shot. So
And I think it would have changed. It would have changed your life.
It would have changed things, and we kind of talked about our paths. Maybe we wouldn't have met. So I'm glad I stayed on this path, but answering that question, kind of those what ifs.
Well, I'm glad you're on the path to me. Next question. What person or who has had the most profound impact on your life, and how? And I'm guessing it's probably me.
Yes. Good guess. Yes.
Good answer.
Good answer. Yes. I would say you absolutely have made the most impact in my life. You've just been a rock through my life. You have changed my life. You have just been, you're the love of my life. So I can't imagine my life without you.
But how have I?
You haven't even let me finish.
I want to know why. This is the good stuff. One
I
question
know
about me.
you like compliments, but you don't even let me finish before you fish for compliments.
This is my favorite question. I'm just kidding.
know.
I'm totally kidding.
But seriously, you don't even let me finish.
Keep going. Keep going.
Oh yeah, keep going.
Yes, please. Keep going. I love it. Keep going.
Yeah. Well, you've helped me come out of my shell. You've helped me become more vulnerable. You've supported me through my decisions. You just have loved me unconditionally. So, you just have been such a support of mine. So I just totally appreciate you. You've been a wonderful father, wonderful husband. So you just been everything to me. So I just appreciate you.
Thank
You make
baby.
me laugh.
I'm pretty good
everything.
at that.
Yes.
I'm pretty good at that.
Yeah.
Thank you, babe.
So
All right, enough about me.
I just love and adore you.
Oh, thank you, sweetheart. You're very kind. You're very patient since I'm the emotional one.
Yeah.
You're the stable one. Mm-hmm. Thank you, sweetheart. Okay. What is something you've always wanted to do but never had the chance to?
So living here in St. George, we see hot air balloons. I know Chris is going to laugh at this one.
What is it with you and hot air balloons? What? What is it?
I just want to ride in a freaking hot air balloon. And Chris is you're just denying me that opportunity.
Of all the ways to die. I
Yes.
don't get it. I've done it once and
How many times we have hot air balloons fly over our backyard all the time? We have hot air balloons fly over our yard and our neighborhood all the time. So one day,
And every
I will make it so.
and every time they fly over.
And what do I say?
I
What do I
want to
say?
go. I want to go.
And yes,
Well,
I almost had my chance, and it didn't happen.
bad
so.
weather. So that's the
Yes.
universe. That's God telling you not to get in a hot air balloon.
Okay.
All right, I did
So
not.
one day,
Didn't see that one coming.
yes, I would like to ride in a hot air balloon.
Okay, we'll work on that one. That's
With or without you.
okay. That's an easy
Since
fix.
you are denying me
That's an easy fix.
my bucket list item. My
Okay.
one wish.
I can't believe
You're
that was your
denying
answer.
this. Yes.
Got it.
And you know what the other one is? Where else do I want to go?
Moab.
We've been married almost 28 years. And you have denied me
Tell you what.
visiting Moab.
We'll do a twofer. We'll go to Moab and go in a hot air balloon, and we'll check both of them
There you
off.
go. And then you'll never have to hear me say it again.
Okay, that's one of our vacations planned right there. I don't know
You don't want
why.
to hear me talk about it anymore, but here we are. Every year I have to bring it up, and you keep just blowing off my dying wish. I'm going to throw that out there. My dying wish.
Oh, for
is-
hell, you're going to use that?
I'm a simple woman, and my dying wish is to go in a hot air balloon and to visit Moab.
Mother of all guilt trips, right?
There you go. There you go.
Okay,
I'm putting out there. The world now knows.
duly noted.
There you go.
Okay, I totally lost where we were because of that one.
There you go.
Okay. Okay. How would you like to be remembered by those you love?
Yeah. Now we're laughing, and now I got to talk
Now
about
we
that
start
one.
crying. That's how our life is. Laugh
Let's
and
come
cry.
back to that one.
All right, we'll come back to that one.
That was a deep one. I don't.
That's a
wanna
deep
talk
one. We'll go deep in a minute.
about-
What brings you the most peace or comfort right now?
Yeah. I think what brings me the most peace and comfort is, I honestly, I just feel like I'm living a fulfilling life. That I'm living my best life. And I also don't feel like I have really any regrets. I don't have any regrets. So I just feel like if I die tomorrow or next year or whenever, that I'm at peace with God and that it's okay. I don't have anything that I'm worried about, and that I'm doing everything that I want to do. I have a family. I've been able to have children. I have loved ones and friends around me that love and support me. I'm doing everything I can to live, and that's what's most important to me.
You had an amazing career in special ed, helping and impacting. And you've done a lot, babe. A lot.
Honestly, I reached my career goal. I mean, that was ultimately my goal, was to become an administrator in special education. I reached that goal before I had to leave that career. I was able to, marry the love of my life, and, we've been able to be married for a long time and be with my children. And so I just don't have, I just feel like I'm living my best life.
How many people can say that? Not everyone can say that. Other than the hot air balloon and Moab.
Yes.
You've had a very fulfilling life.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I mean, really, that's the goal. You would hope. Not everyone has that chance or that opportunity, but a lot of it's your choices too.
Yeah. We've been able to travel. I mean, yes, it would be neat if I, one day be able to see meet grandchildren. But if not, I'm okay with that. I mean, I just think I've been able to live my life.
That's probably the only thing at this point, is just being a grandma.
Yeah.
And I really, really hope you get that chance. I hope I get that chance. I hope we get that chance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Are there any experiences or moments in your life that you're really proud of?
I think, I'm most proud of my family. I'm most proud of our marriage. I'm most proud of my career, being able to excel and do well to be able to be a support for students with special needs, and be an advocate for them. I think for now, being able to start being an advocate for those with stomach cancer, to be able to beat breast cancer, just being able to do the things that I've been able to in my life. So
I think being a mom, you've been an amazing mom too, and
thank you, sweetheart.
Put a lot of work into it, a lot of sacrifice, both health and other things too. But you also were able to balance it. How many times did you interview for the admin role? Do you remember?
Oh, so I one of my goals was to become a special education coordinator. I ended up interviewing for that position 6 times over the years. And I just was I was determined to get that job. I was just not going to give up. And there were a lot of tears and a lot of frustration because other people get a job or things happen with that position. And I just was determined to get that job. So I didn't give up. And sure enough, after that 6th time was the key, and I was able to get that position.
And then you crushed it. You did such a good job. And I remember a couple of times when you didn't get the job and you're just sitting in the car out in the parking lot just in tears because you wanted it so bad. But I think that's a testament to you of your willpower to not give up and to keep doing it. And you knew you could do the job. There was no question. And you were amazing at it and were able to help teachers, people at the district, students. It was awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, and I think even just getting married, we didn't get married till I was 26. And we've talked about this before, where I thought I might be single forever. I dated a lot. I just thought I might be single for a long time. And so just holding out, waiting for my prince to come.
And it's funny because 26 doesn't sound that old.
No,
now.
Here's our daughter about to turn 26. And
she's single, and it's not that big a deal.
Yeah, that's true.
Until you found me, and then your world changed.
Yeah. Yep.
How have your dreams or goals changed over the years? It's an interesting question.
I mean, I think for most people, you think, yeah, really, how have their dreams changed? But cancer really has changed a lot. Changed really right now. I was not planning on ending my career. I was planning on working for another 20 years if I could. In this career, I loved my career. I wanted to continue in administration and special education. So that really changed a lot for what my profession was going to be. So cancer changed a lot for me.
Well, and we were close to being empty nesters. Our youngest is 16. So
Yeah.
that changed even our couple goals.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about moving and living abroad, maybe living in Europe, doing something East Coast. That all changed because of cancer.
Yeah. Yeah. Travel plans. So some of those things we've had to make adjustments of what we wanted to, some of our goals of what we wanted to do.
But now that cancer's part of the mix, so you go from special ed, now how has that changed and finding your purpose? Because that's different now.
Well, I think my purpose now is, instead of being an advocate for students with special needs, which I feel like I can still be, I feel like now I want to be an advocate for those that have stomach cancer. How can I go to Capitol Hill or contact my representatives, or just being a support online to those, maybe giving them encouragement to see my story of how I can get through chemo, how I can get through, here I am I'm still here a year later. Unfortunately, a lot of people with stomach cancer don't last past 2 years. And so, that's my goal. I'm going to keep fighting. So I want to be an advocate and a support for those that are going through really difficult times right now.
That's one thing that I've really admired about you, is even going back to 2018 when you had breast cancer, you never really saw yourself as a victim or a patient, or you never gave the disease more power than it deserved. And you kept your power and you keep your purpose. And even though it's changed, I think that's what drives you. And there's no doubt it's what's going to keep you alive and keep the cancer at bay, is your willpower and your drive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Honestly, it fuels me. I'm just like, there's no way I'm going to let this take me. I'm going to fight it to the very end.
I just love how the goals might change a little bit for you, but the drive is still there.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Love that.
Yes.
Love that. Sometimes it's a little intense, but I love that about you.
You can't stop me.
Nope. Okay. So what's the best advice you ever received, and who gave it to you?
Actually, this was a good one. So, and actually was just talking to our 18-year-old son, who's a senior, about this, because he's trying to figure out college and kind of career path. So the best advice I received, well, this is one of the best advice I ever received, was from a BYU professor. I originally was going to study psychology. I just loved the mind, and thought I might go into become a psychologist or something like that. So I was studying psychology, and I met with him one day, and he just said, "What are you going to do with a bachelor's in psychology?" And this is no rip on anybody that has a bachelor's in psychology, just FYI. But, this was back in the 90s anyway. But he said, "What are you going to do with a bachelor's in psychology?" He says, "Unless you are planning on going to get a PhD, find another field to go into. And then if you want to still get your PhD, then go do it. But pick a field that you could get a job with a bachelor's, and then decide what you want. Do a minor in psychology." And that was great advice. I decided to start doing education. I was volunteering in special education, and I just absolutely fell in love with it. So that helped me. I had already had some interest in special education, but that helped me kind of move over to get my bachelor's in special education. And then I did a minor in psychology. Why I bring that up is 3 months before I even graduated college, I was offered a teaching position. And there were a lot of people that I knew that were graduating the year I was graduating, and a lot of them didn't have jobs. And so they were like, how did you get a job? Like, how do you already have a job? And I was so grateful that he gave me that advice, because there I was. I had already been offered a position before I had even graduated. So that was great advice.
Some practical advice from professor, which
Yes.
really, you were at a crossroads and
Yeah.
it put you on an amazing path.
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry. All right, there's
it
my
is.
one absolutely.
Okay, we'll give you that one.
Yes.
If you could say one thing to someone you care about deeply, what would it be?
I would want to meet my biological father and tell him about my life and my family. So that would be a pretty neat thing. I did not get to meet my biological father. He passed away before I found out about him, and I think it would have been really neat to be able to meet him. I heard about him or found out about him afterwards and heard wonderful things about him, and I think it would have been really neat to be able to meet him.
No, we just had an awesome experience with a family member that you just met.
Yeah, so when we were in Washington, D.C., I got to meet my cousin for the first time, so we can share about that a little bit later, but I'm grateful for my dad that I grew up with, but I also would have really loved to have met my biological father.
And I firmly, firmly believe he would have been thrilled to meet you and have that experience and see the woman that you are and the family that you have. I think you would have loved every second with him.
Thank you.
What do you think the most important thing is in life? Boy, you put some whoppers in here. You put some
I
deep,
know. Now I'm like,
some real deep ones.
a most important thing in life. Oh, this has always been my motto, is carpe diem. I always have felt carpe diem, seize the day. Like, just live your best life. Just enjoy every moment. You know, my first trip to Washington, D.C., I was in the hotel room by myself, and it started to snow. And I was just thinking, like, you know, it's snowing out. You know, now I live in St. George, and I'd really like to just go enjoy the snow. And I'm like, oh, it's cold, it's dark out, it's late, I shouldn't do it. And I'm like, what am I doing? This is me. Like, I need to just go and enjoy it. And I did. I went out and I just got my boots on. I went on snow, and it was quiet. Like, it was late at night. No one was around. And just hearing, you know, the snow fall, it was just beautiful. And I was so glad I did. And I thought, you need to just enjoy every moment. Just embrace life. And I think, and you know, sometimes I wonder, I'm like, is that why I'm going through this? Like, to help people realize they need to enjoy every moment. Because you never know when it's your last. Like, you just have to enjoy, just seize every moment of your life.
But this isn't new for you. You've done this a lot. And I think that's one of the reasons why an earlier question is you have no regrets. You've had a fulfilling life.
Yeah. And I think partly is because I've really tried to just embrace life as much as I can. So
I think of when we moved to St. George. We were living up in Eagle Mountain. We were living in Eagle Mountain at the time, and I had been laid off and was out of work. And we would come down to St. George and vacation often. And I remember you and I just saying, we've always talked about moving down there. Let's just do it. Like, to hell with it. We don't know anyone. Neither one of us had a job down here at the time. And we're like, let's just do it. Let's just go. And we really created the life we wanted. And even though we've had some major trials, health, job, finances. And okay, this is where I'm going to talk just for a minute.
Yes.
But this is a big reason why we wanted to do this podcast, is that you can endure through tough things and still create an amazing life, regardless of what the situation or the scenario is. At that point, we were, didn't have a lot of money, sold our house, up and moved our cute little family. Our daughter was going to be a freshman in high school, and we wanted to move to St. George, so we did it.
Mm-hmm.
And we're so glad. No regrets ever. I think we would have regretted staying.
Yeah.
So
How many times people ask us, they're like, why are you going to St. George? Like, do you have a job down there? We're like, no, we're just going to sell our house. We're just going to go. And people thought we were kind of crazy, but we just felt like it was the right thing to do. We're going to go.
seize the day.
Seize the day. And then remember what happened with my job. I was offered a job, and then the next day we sold our house for full price. And then when I called the principal on Monday to tell her I'd take the job, we had miscommunication, and she ended up offering the job to somebody else.
Yeah, because she didn't think we were going to be able to sell our house.
Yeah. And I was like, wait a minute. This was meant to be. Like, you offered me the job, and I sold my house, and then we figured out another school had a position open, and I interviewed with them, and I got another teaching job, and it actually was the right fit for me. But we were able to come down, and I had a teaching job. But yeah, we told our kids we're going on an adventure, and they were such good sports about it.
I think that's so critical, though, so important. How you talk about it, how you say it. It's one thing to seize the day. It's another thing to say it's an adventure. This is a positive. We literally manifested and made choice and willed a lot of big things in our life to happen. Mm-hmm. They weren't just going to happen to us. We made them happen. That's I think true. A lot of that is seize mm-hmm. the day and living in the moment 100%. Mm-hmm. So thanks for letting me jump in there.
Anytime.
What are some of the things that make you feel loved or appreciated?
I think what makes me feel loved, I love cuddles and hugs from my kids. It's so cute. The boys have been so great. They'll come home and just give me hugs. They always tell me I love you before they leave for school. Carter is just the cutest. He's like, have I given you a hug yet today? So they've just been so loving and supportive. They've been great helpers around the house. So it just makes me feel loved. I think when you give me foot rubs.
Of course.
Yes.
Yeah, foot rubs are a big one.
Time with you, and just being able to just enjoy, honestly, just our talks, and just being able to spend time together. I think that there's just that quality time really just means the world to me. I think also I just love getting like texts or calls from friends. Sometimes just getting invited to lunch and just getting caught up with friends, just knowing that they're thinking of me. I think that means a lot. Because now that I'm home, sometimes it's hard. I had a career where I saw a lot of my friends. I was busy and people saw me, but sometimes I feel like I'm home, and does anyone miss me or think of me? I do worry. I don't know if they. So when I get a text or a call, I do feel loved. So I do appreciate any of those texts or calls.
You really are a simple woman. It's never been showy things.
No, I don't need like gifts and things like that.
Authentic, just heartfelt.
Time and things like that, or just make me feel valued and appreciated.
Are there any books, songs, or movies that have deeply impacted you, or that you hold close to your heart?
I don't have any that haven't necessarily impacted me, but close to my heart. I know you know what is my favorite all-time movie, and I probably have watched this a million times, is Pride and Prejudice. And this probably is one that a lot of women have on their top 10, but I don't know why, but I could watch that over and over again.
Oh,
It's not just for Mr. Darcy. I just love the whole story.
and it's not just the movie, it's the series, it's all the different versions of
Yes.
the book, it's all the
Even
Yeah.
though the original is still the best. Yes, with Colin Firth is
Yes,
still
I know,
Colin Firth
yes.
is still the best Mr. Darcy. Yes.
What about favorite song?
I was trying to think of that. I think, Holding Back the Years by Simple Minds.
Simply Red.
Oh, Simply Red. Sorry. Yes, Simply Red. Holding Back the Years by Simply Red is one of my all-time favorite songs.
Makes you teary every single time.
Yeah. I just love that song. Favorite band, of course.
Easy.
U2.
Easy.
Yes. I get my first album. My first album was U2.
And it's been big for us as a couple as well.
Yeah.
Love you too.
Yeah. So those are just kind of things that I remember or that hold dear to my heart. So U2 will always have a special place in my heart.
Well, we might as well tell them why, at least for
Well,
us.
for me, when I got my first album, I was in typing class with those click, clack, click, clack typewriters. I got the War album. My best friend Anne-Marie gave me the War album. So that was I don't know why I remember that, but I was so excited to get the U2 War album.
And then when we were engaged.
When we were engaged, we went to U2 concert. We've been to them several times, so we've always loved U2.
And then the Sphere in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Stupid amazing. I'm just going to drop a little plug for the Sphere. If you have a favorite band and they're playing at the Sphere, I don't care what you have to do. Sell a kidney, doesn't matter. Auction off a child, I don't care. Go see it in the Sphere. It was mind-blowing, and especially for us, because the diagnosis of your cancer, you had just started chemo. It was this full circle moment that I remember the first song, Zoo Station, which isn't even one of my favorite songs, but it is now, and we just started bawling. I remember just tears pouring down because it was such a powerful moment for you and I, and it was almost like our whole marriage came together.
Yeah. That's true. And now Backstreet Boys will be coming to the Sphere.
Are we going to that? Are we going to that?
I'm trying to get trying to get you to go to the Sphere to go see Backstreet Boys.
I was going to say, you do have a fixation with boy bands. And
I do.
I think you teaching middle school.
I've never seen Backstreet Boys, though.
Actually would be kind of fun.
That would be a fun one to go see them.
All right. I might give on that one.
Yeah. I'm putting a little plug in there to see Backstreet Boys.
Backstreet Boys in the Sphere. Got it. Moab, Hot Balloon, Backstreet Boys in the Sphere. I'm getting a list here. Are there any places in the world you've always wanted to visit but haven't yet?
Yes. There is a place I would really like to go that I've never been to that looks amazing. It's Bali. I would really like to just go to an overwater bungalow. Is that what you call it? Overwater bungalow?
Yeah, like where they're on the edge of the...
Yes. And you could just go out of your room and jump into the ocean. I think that would be so cool. So I would love to do an overwater bungalow. Bali would be amazing, but I know there's other places like Tahiti and other places that you could go to an overwater bungalow.
See, I thought you were going to say Australia here, but South Pacific, it sounds like.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay. Moab.
So, yeah.
Moab, Hot Balloon, Backstreet Boys, and Bali.
Yes.
I got my work cut out
See,
for me.
Moab and hot air balloon are a lot cheaper than Bali.
That's for sure.
So
We may have to spread these out into different activities. It may not be all in one
well, I'm
trip.
planning on living a long time, so we can kind of spread those out. But that would be amazing to do something like that. You know how much I love to travel.
What is one of the most embarrassing moments of your life?
So this one is a pretty funny one. When I was probably 12 years old, back in the 80s, it people used to wear buttons like on their jackets, like total, like think of Wham, and everyone wore like all these buttons. Well, my mom and I went to like a swap meet, and they had all these different buttons you can buy. Well, my brother, he was a boy, so he did a lot of farting during his youth. So
As we all did as young men.
I mean, they're
Yes.
boys, right? So my mom sees this button that said, I love to fart. Like, big button that said, I love to fart. So my mom thought it was really funny to get,
I'm sorry. I was trying to hold it in, but I can't help it.
I don't know. Anyway, so she thought it would be really funny to buy this button that says, I love to fart, and wear it. And so when we walked back into the house, like, ha ha ha, like, why is mom wearing this button? Anyway, we get home, and for some reason, he wasn't home. I have no idea. I don't remember why he wasn't home. We decided to, since he wasn't home, we decided to go see a movie, totally forgetting that she was still wearing this button. So we go to the movie. My mom goes up and buys the ticket. Where's this button? Buys a ticket. We go and buy concessions, get our popcorn, our drink. And people keep just like looking at us. And we're like, what the heck? Like, why are people looking at
I
us?
don't know. It's one of my favorite stories ever.
We go to sit down, and all of a sudden I like turn and like look at her, and I notice the button is still on her shirt, and I'm like, Mom, you're still wearing the love to fart button. And all of a sudden we just are like, oh my gosh, and just tears, laughing. I mean, we probably laughed 10 minutes.
Like ugly cry
oh,
laughing
we were
so hard.
crying. Oh, it was so funny. I will never forget that. Ever forget that. And I know she was just like, what were they all thinking? Like, crazy woman walking around wearing this big button that said, I love to fart. It was so funny. Yeah, that was one of my favorite memories, is that one.
The funniest part, I think, is it's an embarrassing moment, but it was actually your mom.
It was
More-
really her than me, but
right. I
still.
mean, you were there, but I
Yes.
still think there aren't many embarrassing moments with Kendall, because you run a tight ship, babe.
Yeah, I think the only one that I had was when I worked as a receptionist at a healthcare center. I was late for work, and I forgot to zip up the back of my skirt until a patient had to come up to the desk, and I'm walking around just opening up everything, and all of a sudden the patient had to come up to me and tell me the back of my skirt was unzipped. So I was showing some crack that day.
Wow, that's as far as embarrassing stories go,
mean-
that's pretty mild. So you're lucky. So this will be the last question. How would you like us to celebrate your life, your memory, or your spirit when the time comes?
I know we have already started talking about this. That has been one thing we've noticed with other maybe family, friends, that that's a hard conversation to have. And sometimes people don't have that conversation till maybe it's too late, or it's at the end. And I know we have decided to start that conversation now, even though I am healthy, and we don't know when that time will come. But something that has been really important to me is I have a closeness to the ocean. I grew up by the beach. I love the ocean. I know that when we went scuba diving, you were my buddy, my scuba buddy,
Dive buddy.
dive buddy. You were my dive buddy, and it was time for us to go up, and I didn't want to come up. I wanted to stay down and stay with the fish, and
Oh, it was much worse than that. You wandered off everywhere. If my tank would have failed, I would have drowned 7 times over.
I wasn't that far away from you.
Far enough I would die.
I could see you, you could see me. That was what was most important.
Just so you know, she's the world's worst dive buddy. We talk about independent, assertive woman, and she would just bolt, and I would be hanging out by myself, turning around. Where is she? So anyway, we digress.
Yes.
But
I was a happy fish. I was just anyway.
you love the water.
I love the water. Just a side note, that was one of the times my mom ever lost me was I was at the beach with her and she probably was sunbathing and all of a sudden she looked up and I was gone. And I had wandered all the way up the beach. She had all these people looking for me and they finally found me up like, I don't know, half a mile up the beach and I was just collecting shells. I mean, I was, I don't know, 6 years old or something like that.
You love the beach.
Yeah. So I just live at the beach. My point is that as we started talking about kind of what I see as sort of funeral plans or what I would like at the end, I talked to you about wanting to, be cremated and kind of return back to the ocean. I've just have always felt a closeness to the ocean. I just have had no desire to be buried in the earth. And so when we started discussing that, I learned that cruise ships allow you to have kind of a burial at sea on a cruise ship. And as much as we love cruises, I just thought that's what I would love. To have my family enjoy a cruise, to celebrate my life, to make it a positive, happy time, and enjoy being together as a family, but also to be able to release me back into the ocean where I can just be free. And then anytime you guys go to the ocean, you can always remember me. And I can go back to my happy place because the beach is my happy place.
It makes so much sense knowing you. And I'm really glad we had the conversation, as hard as it was.
Yep.
And I think couples should all have it. But to me, the biggest thing is it is a celebration. I didn't, as we think about death and what comes, I didn't want it to be a sad moment, a down moment, a hard moment. I mean, it'll be that for sure.
Yep.
But this just made so much sense on every level. It's you. It's you. And that's how you lived your life. That's how you continue to live your life. And that's how we're going to celebrate you is we're going to celebrate. We're going to party. And we're going to release you back to the ocean. And I'm still going to bawl my head off, but it's going to be, and we already had friends and family that are like, oh, we want to be there.
Yeah.
Because you are a light, sweetheart. And you are an amazing person. And you deserve all that and more. And it should be a celebration because that's what you've brought so much to so many others, so much love, so much service. We will celebrate the hell out of that and you, and it's going to be a party, and it sounds so right.
Oh, you better. That will be fun. Well, even just our last trip with the boys, the cruise with the boys and snorkeling, being in the ocean again, like I just got confirmation. I'm like, that was the right decision.
Yep, no doubt.
I just felt so at peace being there. I just knew that was the right thing for me. So I know it was that's what I'm supposed to do.
Well, thank you. I know you came up with the questions. I thought you did a marvelous job. I didn't know what some of the answers were going to be. Thanks everybody for joining us and kind of getting to know Kendle a little bit better, learning some things you probably didn't know, but also thinking of some really amazing parts of you, your life, what shaped you, where you're going. And hopefully we don't have to celebrate for a long, long time because you're going to be here with us. But love you to pieces. Love you so much. And this is Marriage Tested.
Love approved.
Thanks everybody. Until next time.
Thank you. Bye.